Thank you, Canadians, and to Mark J. Carney for additional $2 billion and 400 armored vehicles. We will use this not for fight against Mother Russia, but more so for buying islands and parties and good time. So we would like to say thank you because you guys are starving, the homeless have no money, and we will enjoy our life.
Mark Carney pledges $2 billion for Ukraine, while we have senior citizens sleeping in tents on the street in the winter. Their pension can't even cover a roof over their head, let alone get the medication and the food that they need. You've got young people that cannot even find work right now. Like what is it, 12% unemployment rate just for young people, folks that are born and raised in Canada? Like, I don't know where he should be spending that $2 billion to get these major projects that they've been talking about for the last 30 years going. You know, we need that. We need those oil and gas pipelines going out west. I don't get it, folks. Tell me, what do you guys think?
Did Mark Carney seriously just give $2 billion to Ukraine after we had already given them $20 billion? Meanwhile, food bank use is at a record high. People are having a nearly impossible time to find a family doctor. Over 70,000 Canadians have died waiting for imaging or surgery. Our economy is being decimated by tariffs. And this is what he thinks is the best use of our money? To give it to another country when ours is falling apart? Does this seem normal to you?
In addition, $2 billion of additional aid, military aid for Ukraine over the course of the next year.
And I hope you guys didn't forget that only a couple months ago, we gave them another $2.5 billion. And shortly after, Chrystia Freeland, while presently in office here in Canada, working for the Liberal government, moved over and got a job with Zelensky working in Ukraine as their economic advisor. It's absolutely insane. This is corruption in plain sight. Now another $2 billion of your taxpayer dollars that we are giving to Ukraine over and over again. Billions of dollars. We're over $20 billion given to Ukraine. It's enough. Guys, Canadians are suffering. What is happening in this country?
Secondly, we have booked $2 billion strictly for military support.
I want a laundry list of every cent of every dollar ever spent to Ukraine. I want to know. Pretend I'm a fucking accountant. Pretend that I'm the tax guy coming to check on you. I want to know. I'm sure everybody else wants to know. Where did it all go? Where is it going? Just show us. I bet you can't. Oh, and you're not allowed to redact anything. Nothing. Because we already know that a lot of it went to a yacht and all of his other bullshit and schemes. This is nothing but a money laundering scheme, just like your bullshit climate can change, you useless pieces of dog shit.
So bankrupt Mark Carney just pledged another $2 billion to the Ukraine, plus like another 400 armored trucks. No, I'm not even kidding. Meanwhile, us Canadians are starving and going homeless because we can't afford the terrible economy the Liberals have created. And to be honest with you, I'm quite sick of this, because isn't the role of the Canadian Prime Minister to put Canada first? So why is he putting the Ukraine's best interests ahead of our own? Like, this is treason and he should be punished as such.
Canadian leaders are very interesting leaders. So the Canadian Prime Minister told Canadians that for Canada to revive its economy, well, they'll have to make some sacrifices. Not only did Canadians knew that they are the ones who are going to be sacrificed for other countries to succeed and prosper while they struggle. Welcome back once again to the channel. I hope you are doing great wherever you are watching this episode from. In this episode, Canadians are fuming, actually fuming with anger. They are outraged that Canada is giving out billions and billions of money overseas while real Canadians struggle in their own country. They are being taxed to the core, and their money that are supposed to develop Canada and be used to solve all sorts of problems that Canadians are facing right now, well, that money is being used to aid other countries and to give other countries better lives while real Canadians struggle with all sorts of problems in Canada. In this video, let's watch what Canadians had to say after realizing that the Canadian Prime Minister has pledged 2.5 billion or added 2 billion to Ukraine while real Canadians are still struggling. Then we shall be talking about it.
So the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, is laundering or sending $2 billion to Ukraine for aid. They're going to launder $2 billion more through the Ukrainian system. Canadians are lining up at food banks in record numbers. And we're sending another $2 billion to Ukraine? Food banks in Canada reported over 2 million visits in a single month last year. That's the highest in Canadian history. That's not 2 million people total for the year. That's 2 million visits in 1 month. Nearly 1 in 4 food bank users are children. Grocery prices up roughly 20 to 25%. We warned you about this in multiple videos. Depending on the category, rent in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver are still near record highs. Average one-bedroom rents hovering around $2,500 in Toronto, $3,000 in Vancouver to keep up with the Chinese money laundering. Mortgage payments have doubled for many variable rate holders since 2022. Household debt in Canada is sitting still around $2.8 trillion. And we have one of the highest household debt to income ratios in the G7. I think it's about 180 points, 180%. Meanwhile, the deficit remains tens of billions annually. Interest payments on the national debt are now costing Ottawa, or you, the taxpayer, $40 billion per year. That's more than we spend on some major programs. Look it up. So when people hear another $2 billion in foreign aid, and what was it, 400 armored vehicles? They're not thinking geopolitics. They're thinking, why are seniors choosing between heat and groceries? Why are working families using food banks? Why are veterans homeless in their own country? Ukraine is a money laundering hub. We told you this before this proxy war kicked off. Don't take sides. Remember all those social media influencers that were going around with the Ukraine flag saying Russia bad, Ukraine good? What happened to those influencers? They took all their videos down. And when your own citizens are drowning in debt, inflation, and housing costs, people expect their government to prioritize home first. This is not extremism. This is basic accountability. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.
Canada's own government website says we've given $6.5 million to Ukraine. Canada, a country with 0 gold reserves. Ukraine has 27.4 ton. $5,000 an ounce US, and that means Ukraine has about $6.6 billion Canadian of gold. Canada has 0. Hand it over.
Another $2 billion for Ukraine, while your cost of living keeps rising. Where exactly are these funds coming from? Mark Carney just pledged yet another $2 billion in support for Ukraine. That brings Canada's total well into the highest per capita contributions in the world, even ahead of larger economies. While Canadians are squeezed by increasing inflation, rising housing costs, and stagnant wages, Liberals keep writing bill after bill here and check after check there, often without clear accountability or benefit for Canadian citizens. Struggling families, rising grocery bills, housing out of reach, healthcare stretched thin. So let me ask you this. Do you feel good about sending billions overseas while so many Canadians are hurting right now?
Just this morning, Mark Carney announced an additional $2 billion in aid going to Ukraine. Now, as a Canadian, I struggle with this as I look around at what's going on in our country, our cost of living crisis, affordability crisis, and I don't understand how we can do this. We're running record deficits, and yet we can send $2 billion to Ukraine here, $2.5 billion to Ukraine there. It doesn't make any sense. And the Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries right now. They have multiple corruption probes going on. This should be a major concern for Canadians. I don't know how you can stand here and feel comfortable about this. I understand you want to help the Ukrainians. What's going on with Ukraine and Russia is horrible. But we also need to protect Canadian interests. That's what we should be doing, is protecting Canadian interests first.
Canada, you're disappointing me. Only $2 billion? Seriously, only $2 billion? We know there was a coup in 2014. We know they were corrupt as shit. We know what was happening in the Donbass region? Yeah, Donbass region. But you don't want to remember that. It's all about big bad Putin. He's taking over. He's going to take over the world. Your Cold War era propaganda BS doesn't work anymore. Elbows up. 2 billion? Not enough. Let's give 4 billion, because your kids and your grandkids, they deserve to give more. They deserve to have less at home. Remember when he said we were going to have to make sacrifices? Do you think he's making a sacrifice? No, he's sacrificing your kids and your grandkids' future. Oh, I'm riding that nuclear weapon into the sunset.
Secondly, is that, you know, the Ukrainian population right now is very, very disappointed in him for not only that $100 million corruption scandal tied to people right in his circle, including his former chief of staff, but also a new corruption scandal that just emerged in the past 48 hours of members of his Sluch Narod, his Servant of the People party, taking bribes for voting a certain way. Absolutely disgusting in this time of war. And, you know, it makes probably friends of Ukraine, including here in Canada, wonder, how much does Mr. Zelensky know about the depth of the rot that is currently there right now?
For those who don't know, the Ukrainian justice and energy ministers, their versions of MPs, they resigned over the corruption scandal of the $100 million. Ukraine's anti-corruption agency, they tried to raid parliament. And they said that on Saturday, the security services were blocking their attempt to raid it, because investigators alleged that sitting MPs were implicated in a new probe. What does Canada do? Well, Mark Carney just pledged $2.5 billion in economic aid to Ukraine. And you know what else hasn't made the news yet? This. This is the biggest ski resort in Ukraine. Just wait and see how big the lineups are.
Туристів за більше ніж 15 років відпочинку в Буковелі. Оце черга. Йде вона по колу. Черга.
Canada has pledged more money than any other country in the world on a per capita basis. We have provided over $24.5 billion of aid to Ukraine. Meanwhile, our healthcare is going downhill. Our borders are not secure. We need significantly more CBSA, RCMP, and police officers, and we need stricter laws. We need more prosecutors. We could have had all of this for a fraction of what we gave to Ukraine. And who knows how many of those billions of dollars were tied up in this corruption scandal. And to add insult to injury, we borrowed money to give to Ukraine. We are running on a deficit. We don't have surplus. We are spending more than what we're taking in. Imagine borrowing money from hardworking Canadians to give it overseas to a country riddled with corruption when we have so many problems of our own. This is insane. Canada first.
Breaking news, Canada has offered an extra $2 billion in aid in Ukraine. Now, does anybody know why? And it's becoming more and more obvious. It's because Brookfield and Carney and a lot of liberals have invested in companies that are there to be in charge of the rebuild. Not only that, is there are contracts right now in Ukraine for Brookfield, for AP 1000 construction cost, Westinghouse. Anyways, just to be clear, Canadians, liberals, we're not helping Ukrainians. and end the war. We're helping liberals and Mark Carney and American businesses, making sure that Russia doesn't take over so that we can rebuild, or they can rebuild, get a lot of money for it, and protect their investments right now. It's a money laundering scheme. What do you guys think? Make sure to leave a comment, follow. It helps me a lot. Brookfield and the liberals send another $2 billion to Ukraine. Well, not Brookfield, but Brookfield will prosper for it. Thank you, Mark Carney, for not taking care of Canadians, but yourself.
As I said before, the Canadian leaders are very interesting people, but not in a good way anyway. So, Canadians are being overtaxed. They are facing a homeless crisis. People are literally freezing outside their tents in this winter. We have tents and tent cities everywhere in Canada provinces, town, back streets, and downtowns. We have escarpments and shelters everywhere. During this winter, veterans, old people, the people who cannot get help, the unemployed, all of them are living in these tents. We have a homeless crisis and a housing crisis. Canadians are paying huge amount of rent. Rent is skyrocketing daily. Groceries are increasing in prices. Veterans have nowhere to go. They are not receiving their pension, and when they ask, they are being offered maid. Well, gas, unemployment crisis, we are not even talking about the mass immigration and the system overload. We are not even talking about the free healthcare, which is not actually free. Canadians are being overtaxed for it. Canadians are being overtaxed to the core to raise billions that will solve all these problems. So after being overtaxed, they are being told, we know we are overtaxing you, we will develop this country, but please, will you allow us to bail other countries before we rescue ourselves? Canadians are being overtaxed so that this money can help solve all these problems, but the money they are raising, it goes to other countries, it goes to overseas. Well, they are giving other countries 400 armored vehicles that costs billions each. And in addition to that, they are giving other countries over 24.5 billion. Well, really, Canadians struggle. That is why I said Canadians leaders are very interesting people. Their policies, even for a grade 1 student, does not make sense at all. Their policies doesn't care or give a shit about real Canadians. As I always tell you guys, these people, they are in the billionaires club, and they will make sure they are benefiting from the billionaires club. Canadians are terming this as money laundering at its finest, and I also say I think this is money laundering of the highest order, because tell me why your people who wanted you to be their prime minister, helped you do it, and maybe voted for you. But for you to help them, you are not. You're helping other countries by using their billions to aid other countries. So in short, Canadian leaders are having policies that does not care about Canadians. And I always say they need to sit down, revise their policies. Makani has been in office for barely a year. But Canadians are complaining about him. So they need to come up with policies. We are not saying he is a bad person. He just don't have good policies. They need to revive their policies. And how are they going to revive their policies? It is just simple. Before we do all these things with other countries, let's make sure our people are living better lives, which is very possible because these people are paying taxes. Let's not use these taxes to bail other countries. Let's not give foreign aid to other countries. Let's solve this problem with taxpayers' dollar. We are taxing them. Yes, they are paying taxes. Let's use these taxes to solve their problem. In short, let's put Canadians first. No more, no less. Just that simple. Let's put Canadians first. And when they accept as a party, like the Liberal Party, we are going to put Canadians first, solutions will come. You will see the housing crisis will be solved within a month. They will build more houses that are actually affordable. Well, these groceries that are skyrocketing, they will reduce in prices. Gas will be affordable. Rent will be affordable. People will get employment because, well, when they start building these houses, people will eventually get employed, maybe. Well, they will reduce immigration overload because these immigrants are also using the resources that Canadians are really paying for, the asylum seekers, the refugees. You've all heard that stories. Well, we'll have Canadians not complain. They will continue paying taxes. These taxes will solve all sorts of problems in Canada. And when they are done, they can say, well, we can give a little bit of investment in other country, not just giving away without explanation. But anyway, who am I to judge? Maybe those are their policies that real Canadians voted for. But really, did you vote for you to suffer? Well, tell me in the comment section what you think about this discussion, because